In the 1930s, the clouds of war once again began to gather over Europe. With the fate of the Western democracies hanging in the balance, Roosevelt turned to the captains of his aviation industry. Don't miss the second episode of Pioneers in Aviation, The War Years. In June of '42, the only Americans fighting in the European theater were the bomber groups stationed in England, the majority of whom were flying perhaps the best known of all American warplanes, the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. In 1942, the whole of Europe remained a German stronghold. American attempts to interdict the mighty German war machine were based on precision aerial bombing. If German industry were under attack 24 hours a day, they couldn't continue to restock their submarine pens, their panzer divisions, and the great Messerschmitt fighters of the Luftwaffe. But these same fighters were taking a terrible toll on the B-17 squadrons, which, in '42, flew their missions unescorted.
Watch him, Scotty.
I got my sights on him.
Check that B-17. He's coming in a half roll. Pull her up, Chief. Pull her up. Hurry. Check that B-17, Chuck. 3 o'clock. Motor's smoking.
B-17 out of control at 3 o'clock.
Come on, you guys. Get out of that plane. Bail out.
American flight commanders anxiously scanned the skies and counted planes as the B-17s limped back to their British bases. The Boeing planes became known for their ability to sustain massive damage and still get their crews back home. Wings were shredded, gaping holes torn in the fuselage, rudders and controls shot away, and still they made it back to base.
Despite the legendary resilience of the B-17, the United States Army Air Forces were taking tremendous losses. Matter of fact, they had more men killed in action than either the United States Navy or the Marines. Now, the problem was the B-17s had to fly in these large, static formations on their bomb runs into Germany. And the German fighters could attack them with impunity because they did not have fighter escorts.
Fighter, 6 o'clock.
ME-109 at 3 o'clock.
Keep after him, would you?
I see him. I'm on him. Come on, you son of a bitch.
It didn't matter how many machine guns that Boeing put onto these B-17s, and they had machine guns all over them. There was a nose gunner, top turret, a belly gunner, there were waist gunners, a tail gunner. It didn't matter. It wasn't enough to protect the crews. What was needed was long-range fighter escort.